Hey everybody, and welcome back to my Wifestyle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for sticking by my side through my channel as I've been going through my new mommy journey. And speaking of which, if you see these big old straps, I am feeding my baby. He's in a carrier right now. I am wearing a tank top, so I am dressed, so that's just a disclaimer. But he is here, so hopefully you guys can meet him at the end of this video. But I know a lot of people have wanted to hear my labor and delivery story, so I decided to share that with you guys. And if you guys watched my last video that I was actually face-to-face with you guys in, I was telling you guys that I was in labor. So I will start there. So I was actually in labor at home for 3 days. I had contractions that were pretty close together, 2 to 4 minutes apart. I woke up from a nap and I actually wasn't feeling very well. And I went into preterm labor at 33 weeks, so I recognized that kind of sick feeling that I would get when I was in labor. And I just kind of had that sick feeling. So when I was in preterm labor, I actually thought that I was getting food poisoning because my stomach hurt and it just felt very weird. And I felt very nauseated, and I actually did throw up, and I did get a lot of diarrhea, which is TMI, but that's what happened. So I thought I was getting food poisoning. So when I woke up from this nap, I felt kind of like nauseous again and just felt kind of weird. And then I noticed my stomach was hardening. So I was like, okay, these are contractions. These aren't Braxton Hicks. So we were starting to time them, and they were about 2.5 minutes apart for about an hour. So I did speak to my doctor, and they did go ahead and do a measurement at their office, and they were 2 to 4 minutes apart. They were pretty strong, but I didn't feel them, which was really weird. I didn't have any you know, I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain or anything like that. I didn't feel like it was like an unbearable thing, or I could talk and sleep through them, walk through them. It was just really weird, and they were super close together. But when my husband and I would actually walk to try to get me to have more contractions, that's when it was pretty painful. So I went into my doctor's office, and I wasn't dilated at all. And she said that I had the option to either stay home and kind of, you know, go through labor at home, which you guys saw, or I could go to the hospital and just kind of lay around there. So I obviously decided that I wanted to stay at home and be as comfortable as possible, because who wants to lay in the hospital with an IV and fluids and ugh. So, and plus they don't let you eat or drink anything when you're in the hospital. So, hey. So I wanted to just do it at home, use my own restroom, not be connected to a bunch of things. So we stayed here for 3 days. I went back to my doctor, and I had only dilated to 1 centimeter. And the reason being is because she had asked me to get a exercise ball, or like a medicine, no, it's an exercise ball, and to sit on it and you bounce. Like literally the ones that you do crunches on, you sit with your legs open and you bounce on it for as long as you can, and it'll help the baby to kind of drop in the canal. And when I did that, the next day when I went in, I was 1 centimeter. So I stayed home, I was feeling good, and I was sleeping, and I was walking, and that was the only time it was painful for me. And hi little guy. And when we went back, I mean, there wasn't any progress. I went to the hospital because my blood pressure had went up to like 178 over 110 or something. It was like really high. So she took me into the hospital and told me that I could not leave since my blood pressure was really high. So from that point, she was like, we're just gonna go ahead and induce you because there's no progress whatsoever. You're still stuck at a 1. Your contractions are still 2 to 4 minutes apart, like nothing's happening. And from the beginning, I had told her I didn't want to be induced. I wanted him to come when he was ready, and which obviously my body was already like, I was going through labor for 3 days, so that was happening. She wanted to induce now to make me dilate more. So with that being said, I felt like I had tried long enough to kind of do what I could to let him come out on his own without Pitocin or without a C-section. So the fact that I wasn't progressing was very disappointing. And she decided, like I said, to kind of give me some medicine to kind of help me dilate. So I asked her to order an ultrasound because I wanted to see how big he was, because he had been measuring very, very large throughout the tail end of my pregnancy. Probably the whole 3rd trimester he was measuring very big. So big that everybody was asking if I had gestational diabetes, which I did not. And so she went ahead and ordered that at the hospital, and the sonographer came in, measured him, and told me he is 9 pounds and 9 ounces. And I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. Like, he's huge. So the nurse, oh, and then he told me too, he's like, he's probably a few ounces larger. So my measurements are usually just a little bit off, but he's probably like 2 or 3 ounces bigger. So the nurse that came back in told me that sonographer is like always on the money. He's usually right on the dot or off by like 2 or 3 ounces. So with that being said, a lot of the nurses there had told me that my pelvis was very small when they would check me, and my doctor had been telling me from day one that my pelvis was very little, and that if it was a big baby that, you know, it was going to be very hard for me to deliver vaginally. So I went ahead and told her, you know, or asked her rather, if she felt like it was safe for me to deliver my baby being 9.9 pounds. She said that in her opinion, a baby above 8.5 pounds was very large for my frame, and she didn't feel like it was safe, but that she couldn't force me to do anything, and that it was fully my choice. If I wanted to try vaginal, I could. And so from that point, my husband and I spoke, and I didn't want to compromise my baby. I didn't want him to get stuck, or, you know, I've heard of a lot of people's babies getting stuck and pooping in the canal because they're so large. The one thing that scared me the most, that made me think that he might get stuck, is that his shoulders were very big and his abdomen measured so large that he was off the charts for the sonographer's measurements. So when you actually see him, he doesn't look that big. Like, you think like, oh my god, he's gonna be a really fat baby, but no, like looks normal. I mean, we were both really swollen after labor, but so anyways, I decided to go for the C-section because I just didn't want to compromise. I felt like, okay, this feels like it's the safest option, and I felt in my heart of hearts that it wouldn't have gone smoothly if I would have tried vaginal. I felt like I would have wasted my time because the induction would have taken 2 days. It was a 2-day process, and if I got a C-section, it would have just been an hour later. So they would have scheduled it within an hour, which they did. And it wasn't that I wanted him out faster or anything like that, because I wanted what was better for him. And in my heart of hearts, like I said, I really did feel like the C-section was the safest. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, I'm this height or I'm this bone structure and I delivered a this size baby. But for me personally, I just felt like this was the best decision for me. So we scheduled the C-section. I was in there an hour later, and I had the spinal, which was my least favorite part out of my entire pregnancy, labor, everything. I did not like the spinal at all. I was numb from my neck down. I had to have my arms straight out like that, and I was laying back, and I got very bad anxiety because I couldn't feel myself breathing. So the anesthesiologist actually told me that I could have anxiety medicine after my son was born, so that way he wouldn't get any of that medication. So we went ahead and did that. So I was very out of it for a few days because of the anesthesia and the anxiety medicine, and then they also give you something to relax you before you go in for the C-section. So yeah, I was pretty drugged, and I do remember seeing my baby for the first time, but I don't remember breastfeeding him for the first time, which is really weird. So, and I do remember a lot of my visitors, but I don't remember a lot of the first day conversations. So that was kind of off and weird for me, but yeah, so I did not like that feeling of the spinal at all. So when they brought him out, he weighed 9 pounds, 11.6 ounces, and he's 21 inches tall. So, oh my goodness, he was huge. And my doctor said that I made the right decision. Once she saw the weight, she was like, I really believe you made the right decision on choosing a C-section. And she did use glue on my incision, so I didn't have any staples, which was really nice because my incision was sealed. So you know, if it came into contact with anything, it had that barrier, which is great. And I don't have as big of a scar, so I thought that was really nice. And I did stay in the hospital for a few days, and as far as the recovery went, I did have to wear a compression band when I walked around, and I was up and walking around the next day. So if you have a C-section, biggest tip is as soon as they tell you to start walking, because as soon as your blood starts flowing, you're going to heal faster. If you lay around, it's going to take you a really long time to recover. And in all honesty, all you want to do is lay around because you're in pain. But I felt like my pain level wasn't unbearable until I got home. When I got home, I would say the 3rd day of recovery was the worst. I felt like at the bottom of my stomach, not where the incision was, like say this is the incision and this is like below your belly button, like your belly button's here and here's that lower part of your stomach. Right in this area, it felt like somebody was holding a hot iron to my skin. And it hurt so bad. Like, I would just break down in tears just out of nowhere. And I couldn't really do much for my baby the first week besides just feed him and burp him. My husband was literally doing everything, like changing his diapers. He was, you know, cleaning him up and, you know, helping me like latch him on. Just everything, because I couldn't do very much at all. He was making me my food, bringing me meals, bringing me drinks, doing just literally everything. So he's a total godsend. I couldn't ask for a better person to have made a baby with. My husband's just amazing. So yeah, I would say I started feeling better by the 9th day. By the 9th day, I started feeling about 80%. Today, the baby's 1 month and I'm feeling pretty good. I did have a little bit of pain today from walking around a lot. I find the more active I am, I get a little more pain, but it's getting better. It's getting, you know, where I'm not noticing as much anymore. So I feel like my recovery has been really good. So I'm really excited about, you know, my baby. I'm really excited about being a mom. This has been a brand new experience for me, and like I said, it's my first child, so my husband and I are very blessed with this little guy. And if you didn't know, his name is Tristan, and I do have a nursery tour up for those of you guys that are interested in that. I can't think of anything else to talk about as far as my labor and delivery story goes, or my recovery time. I just really feel like it was just kind of a wham bam, thank you ma'am type of thing. And if you have the mentality that you're going to be feeling like crap, then you are going to feel like crap. I'm a very positive person. I like to look on the bright side, and I think that's why I enjoyed my pregnancy so much. And I don't think I had morning sickness or anything like that, because I was really, I really relished every moment of it. I just enjoyed being spoiled. I enjoyed eating, you know, delicious food and having delicious things. Oh, and that's one thing I wanted to tell you guys. I did gain 22 pounds throughout my entire pregnancy. By the 6th day, I had lost it all, and I've lost an additional 8 pounds on top of that. So I've been doing really good. So I've lost about 30 pounds in a month, which is great. And I am going to be trying to lose more. So about 2 more weeks, I'll start exercising. I may do videos on this channel like I used to do on my beauty channel called Weigh-In Wednesdays. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. It's where I kind of give you guys updates on my diet or my weight, and I kind of talk about different things on Wednesdays, but we'll see, because I don't know if I'm that brave, because pregnancy really makes you kind of like, whoa, this is like, you know, this is my baby body now. This isn't just like me trying to, you know, I'm trying to get all that flab back in place. So let me show you guys my little baby here and see if I can get him up, if he's not going to be cranky, because he's in a little carrier, as you guys can see. Whee! He has red hair. He has red hair and blue eyes. So let me get him out of this thing really quick. Hold on. So I don't want to take him completely out because he really likes being in this. But this is Tristan, and as you can see, like I said, he has red hair. He just finished eating. He has blue eyes. They're kind of lightening up. And he's just so cute. We love him so much. He's looking into the camera. Are you looking into the camera? But yeah, so he's pretty long. I don't know if we can... I'm trying to get him in here, but it's hard. I'm so sorry. I wish I was better prepared, but I haven't filmed in so long. So, yeah, look up, baby. Look up at the camera. So that's him. He's just glancing around. He's looking at me right now and smiling. So, yeah, we went to the doctor today. Today was his 1-month checkup. They said he's doing absolutely perfect. He did lose weight after, you know, labor, which is normal. But he did go down to 8.2, which was kind of crazy. I was kind of worried, but he's at 8.8 now. So she said I'm doing really good, that's normal for people who breastfeed, and since he's gaining, that I can just keep on breastfeeding and do what I'm doing. So him and I definitely have the hang of that. I probably will do some breastfeeding tip videos or something like that coming up soon. I have some videos in mind, and I have a really awesome collab coming up in a few days, so be sure to stay tuned for that. It's also for new mommies and just in general, like everybody could use this video, definitely, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Are you gonna look and stare into space? He's staring into space at something. But thank you guys so much for sticking by, and I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and if you guys have any requested videos, leave them down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.